Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Brad Young and you are watching another in my series of constructed modern videos. Today the deck I'm going to be talking about and playing with is Spirit Jund. Now this is the deck, this is the exact 75 cards that I brought with me to Grand Prix Toronto this past December 8th and 9th. And now while I actually failed to make day 2, I failed to put up a very strong showing at that Grand Prix. But one of the guys in my test group that I worked very closely with on the deck, his name is Ben Moore. He's a fellow Ottawa resident. He was playing. I was playing 74 of his 75 cards, and he put up a fantastic finish. It was extremely well fought on his part. He made top 16. And he was about to. He would have been able to draw in to the top 8, but he ended up being pared down, and it's a long story. But his day was very well fought, and I just want to put out a good, solid shout out to him for a very, very well played tournament. So good job, and well done for you, Ben. So I'm just going to run through the deck really quickly, like I said. First and foremost, the deck is just Jund. Jund hasn't changed very much since the modern format came about. It's still playing Tarmogoyfs, Dark Confidants, Bloodbraid Elves, Removal, Disruption, Planeswalkers, and Manlands. And that's basically the core of the deck. And what you want to be doing is just playing the most effective things and doing things that are overpowered for their slot on the curve. So I'm going to go through really quickly. If you want a more in-depth version of how Jund works, there are plenty of videos on the internet. So I'm just going to go through really quick my list that I brought with me to the Grand Prix. So it's the 4 Tarmogoyfs, the 4 Deathrite Shamans, which are absolutely fantastic. Everyone I know has played with them, thinks they're great. It's definitely been a format changer since Return to Ravnica came out with this little guy. He's really great for the Jund deck. There's 4 Dark Confidants, 4 Bloodbraid Elves, my absolute favorite creature, favorite part of the deck. Moving into the instance, I have an Abrupt Decay, 2 Terminates, and 4 Lightning Bolts as our removal/burn package. We'll skip the lands for now, go straight into the Planeswalkers. It's 3 Liliana of the Veils. Fantastic, especially, just absolutely backbreaking if you can play it on turn 2 off of a fetch and a Deathrite Shaman. Moving into the sorceries, we have a Maelstrom Pulse, sort of the catch-all of our removal, rounding out our removal suite. The 4 Lingering Souls, which is the newest addition to this deck, and definitely the thing that changed the deck the most, since just as much, I would say just as much as Deathrite Shaman, but definitely the biggest change since Deathrite Shaman is the addition of white. It's the reason why white is even in the deck. It's just a fantastic card, lots of value, great at doing many different things, and just allowing the deck to be able to get at the opponent from a different axis. Fantastic card. Then rounding out the deck, we have our 5 discard spells, the 3 Thoughtseizes and 2 Inquisitions. And we'll move on to the sideboard, again really quickly. I'll go through the sideboard a little bit more in depth in the deck. I just want to kind of explain some of the choices that we made for the tournament. So there's the 1 Batterskull for the mirror, for red decks, for other mid-range decks when you just need a good beater. Batterskull can really just close out the game and make it so your opponent can't win. If they are unable to answer it, it's really good in the mirror. Fantastic against so many decks. Just a really solid card. I'm only playing 1 because we weren't too sure whether Ancient Grudge or Rakdos Charm or anything like that. We were thinking that people would be playing more Maelstrom Pulses and so we were only playing the 1, but it definitely got the nod. I'm gonna talk about that in a moment. There's 2 Obstinate in the creatures. There's 2 Obstinate Baloths for the mirror, for affinity, and any sort of quick aggro deck. Fantastic in the mirror once again. As we go through the sideboard, you're going to be able to see that the mirror is really something that we were preparing heavily for. We expected it to be out in droves, and we weren't entirely incorrect on that. So there's the 2 Obstinate Baloths, just fantastic. We wanted something that when it comes into play, it does something, and he definitely does something. He's just really good. It provides a good attacker, a good blocker, what have you. There's 3 Fulminator Mages, again, for the mirror and for Tron. And just for any of the decks that have sort of unstable mana bases. Like there was that the Reed Duke kind of Jund blue zoo what have you deck. We felt like attacking its mana base would be a really powerful way to win that game. Same thing for the mirror. It takes out the man lands, it takes out their colors. Maybe they can't have white, or you can just play it on turn 2 and put them off of a land. Especially if you're on the play, that is very, very powerful. And again for Tron and for Scapeshift and the like. Into the enchantments, there's 2 rule of laws for combo. So Storm, Eggs are mainly what that card is being used for. The Storm, both those combo decks, they can't kill you through rule of law. They can't win the game while rule is on the table. So while they're trying to find a way to deal with this card, you're actually just able to kill them with your Bloodbraid Elves and your Confidants and your Tarmogoyfs and what have you, and your disruption spells. So rule of law is really key for those matchups where they're just really trying to kill you on turns 3 and 4. Into the instance, we have Abrupt Decay, just another removal spell. Takes out a lot of a lot of the things in the robot decks. Just a really good removal spell for things that you want to kill. We were playing 2 Jund Charms. We realized in testing, as a lot of people did, that Rakdos Charm really wasn't that great. It is better against Rakdos Charm is better against things like eggs and what have you if you need to exile the graveyard really quickly. But Jund Charm just does more, and Pyroclasm is really good in this format. Just being able to, we wanted more sweepers against the fast aggro decks, the robot decks, and the Pyroclasm effect is really, really powerful against that. It's also great against the pod decks and the green-white little kid decks that are playing lots of mana dorks. You can just blow out their mana sources and kill them that way. Again, second Maelstrom Pulse in the sideboard. It's good against things like Pod, it's good against Batterskull and the Mirror, it takes out Lingering Souls, it takes out, there's lots of like token decks and things like that going around. You just wipe out all their tokens. And again, just a good catch-all against anybody trying to get cute with Planeswalkers or different enchantments and artifacts and what have you. Just really good card. 2 Shatterstorms. I was originally playing 3 back when Jund Charms weren't in there. It's the card that you want to draw against robots or affinity, whatever you want to call that deck. You want to draw this card in every single game that you can when you play against those decks. It's absolutely backbreaking. It takes out their creatures, it takes out their lands, it takes out their cranial platings, which is a really, really big deal. And you just want to always have this card. And I felt like with the Jund Charms, with the Pyroclasm effect on the Jund Charms, I was able to cut down to 2 of these, but I was originally playing 3. Just a fantastic card when you have to play against robots, and in a Grand Prix you're going to play against Affinity. It's going to happen. So we're going to go back up here to Thundermaw Hellkite, who was Ben and I both found this card to be fantastic. I was really heavy on the Zealous Persecution plan for the Mirror, just to be able to blow out the Lingering Souls and the Dark Confidants and make your Goyfs kill their Goyfs and your Elves kill their Elves and all that stuff, and just really screw up the combat math with Persecution. But Ben brought it up to me that Thundermaw Hellkite is that, only better. And it really is. It comes down, it kills the Lingering Souls tokens in the Mirror, it kills a lot of the things in the Affinity deck, or at least taps them down. And it's also just a really good attacking creature. Just a lava axe on a stick against things like Tron and Scapeshift, excuse me, and the things where you need to be attacking and you need to present a very large threat in a very quick clock. And Thundermaw Hellkite does that. And I really hope that in our testing here today I get to draw this card and kind of showcase how great this card was. Willie Idle, Edel? I'm not entirely certain how to pronounce his last name, was actually won Grand Prix Toronto with 2 Thundermaws in his main deck, in his Jund-esque deck's main deck. So, and there was lots in sideboards. So this card is definitely going to be something to watch out for in Modern in the months to come. I think it's going to make some serious waves. It already has made some waves. and I'm just really excited to play a deck with Thundermaw Hellkite in it in Modern. I think it's really fantastic. So anyway, that's the breakdown on the main deck and the sideboard that I was playing at the Grand Prix, and what I'll be playing in the videos to come. So I hope you stick around, and let's see what this deck can do.